Hey everyone, we're here for Light of Day Australia at Famish up in St Kilda, here with Mike Rudd. Just really getting into our interview series again this year and wanting to ensure that you're all going to come along on the Friday the 21, Saturday 22 of July for the Light of Day winter gigs in Ocean Grove. Lucky to have Mike Rudd here from Spectrum, who did a great show last year, and everybody that was at the show last year, we've had so many great comments about Mike's performance, and we're glad to say we've got Mike back again this year. But we're also here this year to talk about our Touched by Parkinson's series, where we are talking to a lot of people who have been touched by the disease, and Mike has a story to tell as well. So we're really here to, on two fronts, really to have a bit of a talk about Mike and his career, and also about the Touched by Parkinson's series. Your impressions, I suppose, of the of Light of Day. Firstly, you did the show for us last year. How did you enjoy the chicken shop?
Well, the chicken shop we thoroughly enjoyed. We played it again later on. Was it this year or last? I can't remember now.
Yeah.
But it's an unlikely looking gig because it isn't actually set up as a gig. You play in the window, and but it's just got something magic about it. The sound is magic, and the audience goes in with expectations. Oh, and the burgers are great. They are. I'm not kidding. I reckon I had the world's best burger there last year.
Fantastic. Yeah. Some of the songs that I remember from your past too. You must have to play those songs over and over. Is there a song that you always still love to play, even though you've done it so many times? Is there a song you remember as the one, or you still enjoy doing today?
I reckon we are lucky in a way to be a one-hit wonder. So that song is the only song we have to play in our set. But saying that, I never tire of playing it because the audience knows that song. So they at least do 80% of the song for me. And so it's really good. I don't mind that. But it's also good for us because we're not confined to playing what the audience expects. We just play what we want to play, and that's the kind of indulgence that I really appreciate, especially at my great age.
We Are Indelible. I absolutely love that riff.
Yeah, well, funnily enough, that's Billy Thorpe's favourite. Well, Billy Thorpe, the late Billy Thorpe, thought that was our best song.
Yeah, yeah. And Esmeralda.
Yeah. Well,
Esmeralda.
That's the other song that if we finish up the set with I'll Be Gone, then Esmeralda's encore.
Fantastic.
And the audience just jumps in as well. So great song.
Yeah. No, look, it's fantastic, and we really appreciate you being part of our show again this year. Back to Touched by Parkinson's, I suppose. I'd like to talk a little bit about how Parkinson's has touched you personally, and I think that's important that we share that message with people from others as well. But your recollection, your story, if you could give us a few moments and give us a bit of background into it.
Well, I've only known the one gentleman that has had Parkinson's, and he was directly involved with the band. He was the band's producer for a number of years at EMI, and then later at, where do we go next? Warner's. Peter Dawkins, a fellow New Zealander from Timaru originally, and a lovely bloke, and we had a lot of good times together recording. But he contracted Parkinson's, and his career was made a great deal more difficult because of that. But he was, I think he was the first in Australia to have the operation where they have the rods going to, I think it was a French crowd that did it for him in the first place. But he then was on the ABC, they did a program on him, and his next operation, a similar thing, but with all those more years experience behind him. They did another operation.
Yeah.
And of course, Peter was awake and alert, has to be, during that operation, because they had to know whether they're jiggling the things in the right spot.
Yep.
And he came out from that operation. Well, before the operation, he was virtually comatose. He couldn't speak. He didn't have the desire to speak. He didn't want. And then after the operation, they couldn't shut him up. So that's what happens, folks.
How old was he when do you think?
Oh,
when he was?
that's a good question. He was probably a few years younger than I am, so I would say he would have been in his 50s when he first contract.
Yeah. Look, it's a tough disease, and it's one that's getting more and more prevalent in our society today. And in Australia, we think we need to raise more recognition. Money, funding for research, and that's what we're trying to do at Light of Day. And I thank everyone that's been involved with Light of Day over the last 3 years, and the support and growth that we've had to our partners, Shake It Up, to all our sponsors, thank you. To Mike Rudd, again, fronting up again this year,
Yep.
thank you.
No, looking
And
forward to it.
we're looking forward to a great weekend. So, Light of Day, 21-22 July, don't miss it. And thanks to Famish here in St Kilda for allowing us to interview here on the site. It's great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.